Where did the inspiration for your restaurants come from?
It's from my mom.
Are the dishes that you serve in B Maram the kind of exact versions of your mother's dishes or inspired by?
It's the same, but when you ask me, no, her food is better than me.
And you've received such recognition. How does it feel to know that you've elevated Palestinian food to this level?
Yeah, it's a dream to get awards. It's not easy. And they make me so proud to continue in my dream.
More celebrities now are coming out and speaking about what's happening in Gaza. And some of those names have been a bit of a shock.
The people who have used their platforms to speak out against what's happening, people that have used their platforms to label this a genocide, people that have called out in support of a ceasefire.
We've seen lots of heritage sites that have been impacted by war.
We've spoken to both UNESCO and Aleph, who have said that they're taking steps to safeguard Baalbek and other historic sites in Lebanon.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's 50th episode of Culture Bites. Today, we're going to be speaking to the chef Salam from B Maram.
We are also going to be speaking about the celebrities using their platforms to speak about Gaza.
And the cultural landmarks in Lebanon, which are coming under threat. This is Culture Bites coming to you from the National News. I'm Enas and Farah.
And I'm Farah Andrews. Happy 50th anniversary.
50th. I feel like we're marking a lot these days.
So many milestones, but here we are, our 50th episode.
50th episode.
That's a milestone.
I know, it's a bit of a milestone. Man's not here today. I mean, last week we did send him off. And this week...
Man's had some homework. Man's been out on tour. Man's now taking some time.
He's taking some time back, which is fair enough.
The man deserves a holiday.
Yeah, it does. To start this episode of Culture Bites, we are going to be speaking to Salam Dakkak, who is the amazing, incredible, formidable, you're a big fan.
Massive fan.
It's like, I think, yeah.
Fun girl.
Palestinian food from her restaurant, her very famous restaurant, B Maram, when she's also opening a new one called Sufret Maryam.
So yeah, here's our chat with Chef Salam.
So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. With us right now is Salam Dakkak, who is the owner of B Maram in Dubai, Palestinian Jordanian chef.
Yes.
Where did the inspiration for your restaurants come from?
It's a long story, to be honest. First of it, thank you to invite me. I'm so happy to be here. Really, Enas, it's a long journey. It's from my mom, and I think everybody they know that the story. But I would love to talk about it. Her inspiration, all the mothers show the love through the food. The first question they ask us, "Did you eat?"
Yes.
Yeah.
I ask that all the time. Eat your food, Aida. Eat your food.
Yeah, exactly. Then I start from this moment when I lost her in 1996. I need to do something looks like her. I would love to make something connect to her. Even she is not alive, but her, everything related to her around me. It's really nice. And I save all her recipe.
Wow.
And when it's exactly, it's a big dream for me. I put all her stuff in the small restaurant and I start work from there. And maybe the first month at the beginning, I think she's with me all the time. Especially when I cook, when I feed the people, when I talk to the people, I feel she is behind me.
Nice.
From here.
I was gonna ask you how because you were born in Palestine, and then no.
My mom, she born in Palestine.
Oh, your mom was born in Palestine.
And my father, they are cousins.
Ah.
And they moved 1948 to come back again, but they cannot.
Yeah.
And since I born, always we talk about Palestine, especially about our village. how's the land, how's the houses, the mosque, the church, because our village have Muslim and Christian. And how they cook, the season of the food, every month have something new to make it. And every night, this story, it's a must. I feel I know Palestine without I see it.
Yeah.
When I visited, I feel I know everything.
And then having that taste of home comes through your mother's recipes, right?
Yes,
and then that's been carried through into the restaurant.
Definitely,
Yeah.
Yes.
And are the dishes that you serve in Beit Maryam the kind of exact versions of your mother's dishes, or inspired by?
Anybody visit my restaurant in a different age, different nationality, they told like my mom food. It's the same, but when you ask me, no, her food is better than me. Yeah, I miss it something.
That's what we all say about our mom's food.
Yeah, but it's similar. So, and all her recipe and what exactly she loved. Yeah.
Is there one dish that you feel really is your mother?
ملوخية.
Mlokhiyes, I love that dish.
I love ملوخية.
Have you had that, Farah?
No, talk to me. Describe it to me. Feed my brain.
It's so good. She add little meat inside the ملوخية. Usually we make it with the chicken. This is that as a traditional, but to make me more happy, she adds small pieces of meat inside the ملوخية. She told me this is special for you to let me eat, and I'll be excited that time. Yeah.
I really want to know all the tricks. So mlokhiyeh it's like a spinach, and it grows on really tall stalks.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sure, Salam, you've done this.
Yes.
I remember
How much
this.
we enjoyed when we start the season ملوخية.
Because you pick
It's a come between July, end of June, until end of August, beginning of September. This is the whole season for ملوخية. And every day we have some ملوخية. Yeah, ملوخية with meat, or ملوخية with chicken, or ملوخية with olive oil, because it's fresh. And before also we eat seasonal. Yani we cannot, what the season have, we eat that things. But it's really hard when you clean the ملوخية, remove it from the what they call it. Yes, so yeah, then after wash it, بعدين dry, put in the sun until it come dry, then we save it because no freezer at that time. Make it dry. But it's really amazing,
delicious.
very tasty, yeah.
When you were talking about it, I'm reminded of my grandmother and how she would sit on the roof of her building and lay out the mlokhiyeh on bed sheets.
Yes.
And wait for it to dry. And then she would sieve with her hand through. So it makes like a fine, almost like a powder.
Yeah.
And then that's used to make this really, it's comfort food at the best.
Yes,
Of like a
with
green
a lot of
stew
garlic, olive oil.
and lemon.
Oh my God. Yeah. And
So I've
lemon.
not tried that, but I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it for you.
Yeah.
What are we going
I
to
want
go
Salam
Come
to
to
make
me. Most welcome. Pleasure. It's so good.
Which dishes do you see customers getting the most excited about when people come and dine at your restaurants?
Actually, all our menu is good for and tasty. But there is a fatek مسخن. This is the star. And all the people love it. And always they ask about it. Like falafel. Like mixed grill, definitely, because I have from all the nationality. They can visit me. And hummus. Yeah. The daily dish, we have every day 2 daily dish. This is most important for the lunch. And most of the people always ask about the daily dish also, yes. Many things. I hope to visit us and try it.
I've been to Beit Maryam, but I haven't been to your new restaurant, which is so exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Tell us.
The Beit Maryam is like if we talk in my grandmother and my mother, and very tiny, very small in the village. And Sufret Maryam is like a nice home in town, nice restaurant in town, bigger, little bit refined, elevated, same flavor. You don't find any difference between the flavors, same ingredients, but just little like what they call it, presentation, different plate. How that my daughter come now and her friends.
This is for more diners to come and enjoy your food. So different generations are coming and dining in your restaurants.
Yes.
And tell me, as a non-Arabic speaker, what does sufret mean?
Sufra is the sharing table.
Yeah.
Every home in our country have a sufra. Sufra is a long table or round table. All the family sit around it and talk and eat, enjoy that lunch or dinner, and usually at dinner more than lunch, and drink tea, eat lots of things, and everything like in a small plated. This is sufra.
It's a very healthy way of eating.
Yeah,
I like that.
small plates. It's quite a thing at the moment, right? Small plates. This is amazing. And obviously sharing your culture at the moment must mean something really deep right now with everything that's happening. Are you proud of how you're able to show Palestinian culture through food?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very proud. Especially in the hard time. These days, it's really tough. And I'm so proud to be share about our culture and our food as a Palestinian woman to the world. It's not easy. It is very hard.
And you've received such recognition. So this is where I'm going to start to read your accolades, which are many. Winner of the Michelin Bib Gourmand,
Yes.
the Welcome and Service Award.
Yes.
You were named the best female chef in the Middle East and North Africa. It's a big place. And you were also listed as the world's 50 best restaurants.
Yeah.
How does it feel to know that you've elevated Palestinian food to this level?
This is that all the awards I get it give me a power to think about make a new restaurant in a different way and to elevate our food. When I start my restaurant, I think I cannot continue maybe 6 months because nobody know me. I am in the place nobody can come even there. After 4 months, a lot of the people come and visit and eat, enjoy, talk about it. Start make interview, a magazine, TV show. I'm really so happy. And then it's a dream to get awards. I get a lot of awards. Start from Michelin, from 50 Best. It's not easy, and they make me so proud to continue in my dream, to continue make new things, to elevate what I do, when you get awards, you think about what the next, what you have to do, what continue your dream. You give me big push to continue, to be honest. Yeah. Yes, it is. It is amazing.
Well, then, what is next?
Yeah.
How does it get bigger? What else? What other impact would you like to make on the UAE's dining scene? Because you've done so much already.
The dream not stop. Never stop. I would love to make many things still in my plan, but now I'm focusing in Sufret Maryam. Yeah. I don't move from project to another fast. No, I give any project I make it. I give the time.
Yeah.
To finish it, to take care about it, because if not give the place all the care, it's not easy. Yeah. Then after, inshallah, many things coming. Definitely.
It's time.
Yeah.
I like looking at the future, but I also like looking back. And when did you always know you were going to be a chef? Did you always know this was in your future, or was this something that came from your mother?
Yeah. This is something came from my mother, but I don't have the chance to make it because my journey started from Jordan to Saudi Arabia. I stayed in Saudi Arabia, then America, then here. And really thank you, Dubai, to give me this chance. Yes, I'm so appreciate to make my dream, to open my restaurant, and to let me also get all these awards. They support a lot. They talk about me. I'm really happy and grateful where I am now. Alhamdulillah, yani. And really, I can say thank you, Dubai. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
That is,
incredible.
Yeah.
I think there's something really, we talk about it so often on our podcast, is how special the UAE has become for bringing and encouraging all of the
Yes, they
diversity
are.
in the Middle East.
They are, yes.
Yeah.
They are.
So it's great. And you went to cooking school though?
No,
You didn't go to cooking school?
no.
All these awards
Yes.
and you're self-taught?
No, yeah. But I work very hard. Even at my home, before I start my business, I work very hard to cook, to create something, to mix the ingredients. I'm traveling a lot. I take classes at home in India, in China, in Morocco, in even Italy, Spain. But at the end, when I'm thinking why I'm make my mom food, my mom recipe, because already I have it and I stay with her many times when she cook, and I know how she deal with the her pot caring, and she cook with love, and how to fry the onion. And why I go far? I stay in my mom's zone and I cook what she teach us. And I started from here. Yeah.
I love that when you said you cook with love. That's
Yeah.
something my teta, my grandma, would always say. And she would say, like, min idi, like from my hand.
Nafas. Yeah.
The nafas comes from the hand.
Yeah. Yes.
So there's like this cultural kind of, I feel quite, like, I don't know how to, it's like spiritual almost. It's a spiritual thing, cooking.
Exactly. And you know all the sense in your hand, especially for the spices, to make it like this, the smell comes, it's more and more. Yeah.
But it is such a, like, cooking for other people on like a small scale or a big scale is such a special shared moment, right? Like it isn't, it's like you've put so much time in the moment in making the recipe, but also in the past, developing the recipe, being inspired by your mother. So it's like, it is sharing part of a story, right?
Yeah,
It's not just
of course, yes, yeah,
one plate of food.
of course, yeah.
When you're talking about that, the story of Palestinian Jordanian, like Levantine food, to people that aren't familiar with it, how do you describe it? How do you describe the food from this region?
If we can explain our food, it's our issue is suitable for everybody. Everybody, they like it. Have a lot of ingredients. We love it. Like we use the olive oil, and I doubt anybody hate the olive oil. Have a lot of vegetable, meat. Have everything, and it's really, you know, Bet Maryam. It's all the nationality in Dubai. They visit Bet Maryam, and when I passed to each table, I asked them. They told me, we love it. It means it's suitable for everybody. And because a lot of ingredients from sumac, za'atar, all these flavor, I doubt anybody hated or, yeah.
It's just centuries and centuries of
Yeah.
refining. I always say I really love that when I have vegan friends, They're very
They
shocked.
can. Even
Yeah.
vegan, we have a lot of the vegan plates. They can eat it at Beit Maryam also. And another side, we have the meat, a lot of flavor.
Yeah,
So much flavour.
Yeah.
so much.
For Beit Maryam has become somewhere that is so popular with people that live in the UAE, but also with visitors coming.
Yes,
It's become a kind of go-to.
Yeah, you know do you mean the visitors?
Tourists.
Yes. I think from the media, from the social media, from the TV, because I have lots of visitors from Australia, Canada, America, India, Singapore, from all over the world, I swear, yani. Could be from the TV show that I made a show with somebody feed fell. Also, it's an amazing show.
It is a good show.
With Michelin
Yeah.
hours. There is many people, they are looking where is the Michelin or places and 50 best.
When my friends come to Dubai on holiday, they always have the things they want to do: go to the desert, go to the beach, come to Beit Maryam every time.
My pleasure. I'm so happy when somebody told me we are from Canada or Australia, we are coming to eat in your restaurant. I want to cry. It's not easy. Yeah.
It's a notoriously difficult business to have a restaurant.
Yeah.
So I can imagine there were like trials and tribulations and it was hard at times. But when someone new does come and it is that excitement, what's the dish? What's the one dish that everyone needs to try at your restaurant? Please say مسخن. It's my favorite.
The hummus.
Oh, the hummus.
Yes. I think the best hummus in town.
In town.
Yes.
What's the secret?
You've got to back your own hummus.
Do you use ice?
The good thing, yes, of course. Yeah.
See, this is
You
what my
have to.
teta would do.
You have to. You should boil the hummus very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a good texture.
Yes.
And remove all the skin.
All the skin.
It's a must. Yes.
Yeah.
And you should put ice.
That's it.
At what stage do we use ice?
This is the secret.
It's
After boiling,
after boiling. Yeah. When you mix it.
and then mix it with ice.
Yeah. You put the ice to let the color come white and the texture comes smooth. Amazing, like smoothie.
It is literally the trick.
Yeah.
And I think all Arab households know this. And like my teta would do it and other people, but I mean, bless my mum. My mum doesn't do it. She's English, but it's to put ice.
Yes.
Ice is the secret ingredient.
And this plate very special for me since I am 7 years. We go to there's a place for hummus and falafel. We visited with the plate. Please put 10 dirham hummus for us. And all we share this plate, like a sandwich, we love hummus. Yeah, hummus, it's a must. Yeah.
Hummus is one of those breakfast foods. I don't know if they had it in the UAE, but as a child living in Jordan, we would take, like you say, our grandma's plates.
Yeah.
And we'd go, and you'd have these plates, Farah, and you'd have to walk to the local hummus guy.
Yeah, and stay on the line.
And then you'd be walking back with this plate of hummus. And if one of my cousins dropped the plate, oh no.
And it's really nice. It's something to remember. Never forget these days.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so special.
So this Sufret Maryam is now into fine dining. So how have you taken Levantine food into this new, because we're talking about nostalgia, we talk about family and the remembering of the Sufret.
Yeah.
How is it now?
We work very hard to keep our taste with elevate. It's not easy. I don't want to go fusion. No, we are not fusion at all.
I like that.
I don't. It's not me also, and we work very hard to make same recipe and same ingredients, same flavor, but to elevate the plate. How we elevate it? We elevate it by presentation. We elevate it by how we use the plate, the nice plate, funky plate, but still have the same taste. And now what I heard from the people, you save your recipe, you save your flavor, but take to another level.
Nice.
Yeah, which is amazing. This is what I want. Yeah.
And are there any dishes on the menu that are completely different to B Maram for people to try?
Yes. Yeah, there is some. I don't mix too much. I keep some special for B Maram, some special for Sufra. We have ملوخية بالزيت. It's my favorite. It is my favorite with this is how we elevate. ملوخية بالزيت. It's ملوخية with our spices, with the garlic, with everything. Just I add on the top lemon caviar.
Wow.
It makes to elevate the plate and to take it to second level.
It must have been so fun developing the new recipes and the
It's really
different
nice.
recipes.
It's hectic but very nice.
Yeah.
We talk, we fight, it's not easy. Yeah.
But you got there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming. I cannot wait to try lemon caviar on my molokhia.
Yes. It's so good. You should try it.
Yes,
Yeah.
inshallah. We'll be there soon.
Pleasure. Most welcome. And thank you to invite me. Thank you so much.
Thank you
you
for
so
coming
much.
here.
Yes, pleasure.
So from Palestinian food to the situation in Gaza, which as we know is getting worse and worse. And we want to talk a little bit about the celebrities. I think more celebrities now are coming out and speaking about what's happening in Gaza. And some of those names have been a bit of a shock.
Yeah, in the past, this is something that you and I have been, not just you and I, but as the Culture Bites team, we've kind of been looking at and watching from the very beginning. The people who have used their platforms to speak out against what's happening, people that have used their platforms to label this a genocide, people that have called out in support of a ceasefire. And in the past year, there have been people using their platforms consistently throughout. But in the past couple of weeks, we've definitely kind of seen a bit of a change in,
I think there's a bit of
change in tide.
I think there's a bit more of a change in tone. I think the urgency of the situation, I think it's been urgent for about a year, but the urgency of this situation is definitely coming to the forefront of people's minds. And I think one of the most poignant ones was Andrew Garfield recently on a podcast called Happy, Sad, Confused, not to celebrate other podcasts, but that's what podcast he was on.
Other podcasts exist. I guess we have to acknowledge it. But he
and he was asked a question, and his response to the question took very much, I'd say, a turn.
Yeah.
I don't think the host was ready for his turn, and it was in front of a live audience, and he said, we should be putting our energy towards something that actually matters, maybe the lives of others. I don't know, Palestinians in Gaza right now. Really powerful.
So he basically chose not to answer the question and just completely directed the conversation into a conversation about Gaza, a conversation about what's happening to Palestinians, and really did kind of put he completely changed the conversation. They didn't talk about it an awful lot after that, but he was able to kind of make his statement. He was able to say what he wanted to say. It's got some attention, and he is definitely among the most high-profile British American actors that have spoken about this directly. Not just, and this is not to say that wearing a pin isn't talking about it. Like there is, it's not actually talking about it, but it's a statement. It's solidarity. But he has really put the words out there. Like we've had Annie Lennox shouting from the rooftops for the last 8 months, 9 months, and she's been incredible. Oh yeah, incredible supporter of the people in Palestine. But he's not alone. Another person who's been pretty high profile is John Legend.
Yeah, this shook me a bit.
Don't be shook. He has spoken about Palestine because this basically since I've joined The National, we've been writing about John Legend, talking about he in 2019, 2020 said that he doesn't think you can have a conversation about civil rights if you aren't having a conversation about the rights of Palestinians.
Wow, I did not know this.
So he's had a conversation with the journalist Mehdi Hassan.
Mehdi Hassan, he's quite famous.
Yeah,
British
he's
journalist.
Super prominent, super outspoken, incredible guy. And John Legend had a conversation with him on another podcast in like 2020 that I remember writing about. And he said that at the time, and now he's got on another one of his podcasts. He said he's very frustrated how easily we can dehumanize certain people based on where they live, the color of their skin, their religion, whether they are allies with our country. So John Legend has been...
Really powerful things. Like, I don't know why I didn't expect that from John Legend. I suppose, like, I was going to say, like, mediocre pop star, so I thought, but that's really cruel. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, take that back. That man performs here all the time.
He performs here all the time. I can't wait to see him. Another one that I think really caught the social media sphere recently, in case you have missed it, was Javier Bardem, who's a very famous Spanish actor, married to Penelope Cruz.
Penelope Cruz, yeah.
Yeah, look at me with my knowledge. Famous for acting both in Spanish and in English. And he condemned what was happening as barbarism and co-signed an open letter condemning the bombing of Palestinians, Israel's bombing of Palestinians. Really powerful speech that he gave. And I think, again, it's just more people are just using their platforms to speak about these things. I think we're always used to perhaps like artists and writers being these kind of like thought provokers. But I feel like we're entering into an era where maybe actors and musicians are becoming slightly more political or like politically minded enough to understand that they want to take a stance on something which is happening before our eyes.
There's also a actor who have you ever watched Vikings?
Oh, God. Yes, I have.
I haven't, should I?
Yeah. Just don't ask my husband.
Okay.
It's one of his favourite shows.
I'll message him later. Because the star of the show, Gustaf Skargard, appeared at a protest around about October 7th, kind of to mark the 1 year anniversary of the beginning of the war in Gaza. And he was part of a group of people who read, it was a protest that lasted for 10 hours for a day. And they read the names of all the children that have been killed in Gaza. And there's this long list. And in the 10 hours, they didn't finish the list of names. And so it was an incredibly powerful protest that was that he took part in last week. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And, this list is growing and growing. How do you feel about celebrities doing this kind of thing? Like, I think it always gets a bit of a mixed reaction.
We've spoken about this a little bit, haven't we? About whether it's something that they should be obliged to do, and how people use their platforms. I think, like at the moment, I don't understand how anyone sees what's happening and doesn't want to shout from the rooftops that this is wrong. How are we seeing these photos and videos that seem to get worse every day? And they aren't photos and videos, they're things that are happening. And they're things that aren't just happening, they're things that are being done to people, by people. They're decisions that are being made. And it does just get worse and worse and worse. When you think it can't get worse, then it does. And so when there are people who are, like you described, kind of cultural leaders, thought provokers, and for them to have these enormous platforms and to be able to start a conversation, have significant people, because I think for a very long time there was a conception for a lot of people in the public eye, if they speak about what's happening in Palestine, it's a career ender, which is mind-blowing.
I think there was definitely that. Like, look, I worked in the media sphere in the UK, and it was definitely, and it is still definitely something which can hinder opportunity. Yeah. Because people just wanted to stay away from it. And even if it wasn't said explicitly to anybody, it was hinted at so often in the media bubble that don't touch that subject. Just don't touch it. And it is, something that became a part of the culture, I would say, within the media world there. And, you know, like there are certain rules, like if you're part of the BBC, you know, you do have a job to be impartial.
That is slightly different. That is a very key part of British media, is that we're meant to have this impartial news organisation.
I think like you should always let the facts speak.
Yeah,
I think that's the key of being a journalist, whether it's at the BBC or even here. Like I think you should always let the facts speak. But how far that culture became entrenched is something that I think we're all kind of like perhaps just reassessing right now.
Yeah,
I think everyone is, and you can just tell that by people like Andrew Garfield speaking out, or John Legend, about how that feeling is changing.
And I still think I stand by what I've said in the past, where I don't think people should be kind of cancelled and struck off just because they aren't speaking, they aren't using their platform, because there could be myriad reasons why they're not, and it's impossible. Like I don't think this is a situation that is particularly nuanced at this stage, but there are many reasons why. And I also think if people don't feel like they know about it, then they should step back, read about it, listen to information, read what experts have to say before they start shouting from the rooftops about things they don't know. And I think a lot of the time celebrities get themselves in trouble for that. And so I do understand a hesitance to not talk about, and I would rather they didn't talk about something without really understanding it. So, hey, it's a house of cards. So now, kind of after speaking about celebrities, to speak about Gaza, we wanted to kind of talk about the impact that war has on cultural heritage sites. And this is not a new conversation.
No, it's not. We've seen lots of heritage sites that have been impacted by war, whether it was the Taliban blowing up the ancient Buddhas. We've also had ISIS at the gates of Palmyra in Syria. And now we have, as Israel's expanding its wall, it's getting closer to a UNESCO heritage site. Yeah,
so it's in the last week or so, they have conducted airstrikes on some very densely populated areas of Lebanon. And one of the airstrikes struck less than a kilometre from Baalbek. Have you been?
I've always wanted to go, and I've always just missed it.
Yeah.
The thing is, when I go to Lebanon, I get so busy in Beirut, which I think anyone who's listening to this podcast is like slightly nodding along to.
It's relatable.
Yeah. It's like, oh, there's all this stuff to do in Beirut. And then I just kind of get there, and then I just don't leave Beirut, which is really bad because so much of Lebanon is so beautiful. And maybe it's my own fault that we're not taking. The one time I went on a proper holiday, have I ever told you this?
No.
I went on a big holiday to Lebanon, was in October of 2019, and I got caught in the riots. They just got bad luck. It's okay.
I planned a holiday to Lebanon to go see a little-known artist called Celine Dion. She was meant to be performing there in August 2020, so that didn't happen. But yeah, that did not happen. And then I might not see Celine Dion live now.
Yeah.
But that's not the point of this conversation.
That's not the point.
So obviously the way that UNESCO, like conservation bodies like UNESCO and Alif, they work to safeguard a lot of these historic sites, but also the memory of them kind of before there is any kind of potential destruction, right? We've spoken to both UNESCO and Alif, who have said that they're taking steps to safeguard Baalbek and other historic sites in Lebanon, and they've already put an emergency fund in place to kind of do some protective work on the sites. So it's very front of mind at the moment. Obviously, the biggest loss in situations like this is human life, but there is also just so much history.
There's cascading loss, yeah.
It's like the yeah, like so Baalbek is a Roman complex with a multicultural history that dates back 11,000 years. And to think that like at the flick of a switch, it's horrifying. And it's like it also is just like a look at the way humans just seem to learn nothing from decades, centuries of just this kind of continued practice. And yeah.
I have maybe I'm too optimistic. I have quite an optimistic slant on just generally this whole kind of like idea of preservation. Mm-hmm. Like I really do admire like modern architecture as well, right? And someday modern architecture will be seen as ancient and old and should be protected. I'm a big fan of Abu Dhabi's work in protecting the kind of the old 70s buildings that were built here during the boom. And I do have, even though I think it's horrific, absolutely horrific, that we could lose an 11,000-year-old site, or that it's even under threat, is unimaginable to me. I also hold this like real optimism that the lands that the Levant is built on are very, very old, okay? And they have probably been rebuilt probably 11,000 times.
Yeah, that is kind of what I was going to say, that I don't like, of Mike, the idea exactly that anything that's 11,000 years could be kind of destroyed is absolutely heartbreaking. The fact that it's stood tall and withheld 11,000 years of history is amazing.
Beautiful.
But then it's kind of like someone referenced Marie Kondo earlier, and I'm not saying that we should Marie Kondo conservation sites, obviously not. But there is the kind of like, we should have the sites that we value so, so much, and they will stay there. But there have been, in that 11,000 years, think of how many structures have risen and fallen, and fallen. And it is a part of human history. It's a part of a story that every like cycle of humanity goes through. That's not to say like everything that's happening at the moment is horrifying, and that everything that we can do to preserve this history is completely right. But yeah, I think your optimistic view of it is pretty beautiful, and the kind of idea that, hey, is 2454 gonna one day? No, I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Let's see.
Who knows? I have this kind of I've always said that, oh God, she's getting wise. She's going quite wise, Farah. But
sit down for sage hour with Enas.
But optimism is always the best combatant. Yeah. As to be optimistic is to have hope, and to have hope in the darkest of times for a better world and for a better anything is my own protest in its own way.
That's your way of,
and that's
your
my
win,
own
right?
way. Yeah. So that's what.
It's very powerful.
Thanks. I'm just thinking that, and when we see awful things happen in the world, which feels overwhelming at the moment, but it's, we must hold optimism for a better, more beautiful, brighter future. Inshallah.
I feel like we should leave it there. I was going to talk about digital archiving, but
can we? My husband does some of that. He did a church in Beirut.
I think that there is obviously like an enormous role that it can play. Like we now, as even like anything that we lose, there is just still these like enormous archives of everything that we're going to have as humans now forever. But it's not the same, is it?
What, a digital archive? No, it's definitely not the same. It's definitely not the same. And you can't do things with the digital archive. It's nice to have, but also sometimes it's quite good to have in case there's an earthquake or something. So often my husband actually would do it because of those reasons, like to have it
and then
preserved
for preservation
somewhere.
Down the line. It really takes me back. This is a bit of a detour conversationally, but it really takes me back to COVID, when we were all in the house, we were stuck inside, we weren't traveling, and people were just so starved of kind of like cultural interaction that we were going on like digital and virtual museum tours and digital archaeology tours. I was like, and so it's like,
Or the walking videos.
Yeah.
Did you do the walking videos? Did you see you walking around Barcelona or something? Like, oh, that's what they're doing in Barcelona.
And people going for a walk in like the woods and just kind of following them, like you're on like a nice day out.
So random.
No, I was in the greens in Dubai and I wasn't going on any nice long walks. It takes me back there. But the way that we are, kind of documenting and archiving every square inch of these sites is so important, because obviously we don't kind of want the remodeling down the line. We want that kind of moment from human history, but to have that as a backup is so important, right? So they're doing, like UNESCO and these other conservation groups are doing really important work. And
really important work.
And we can't really like have this conversation without thinking about the fact that in Gaza already, like so many sites, like historic sites, churches, mosques, they're gone.
Gone now.
And so a lot of the kind of preservation measures there have also been stepped up, but in a way that's kind of enormously out of these organizations' hands.
On to recommendations of the week.
Would you like to start with yours, or would you like me to kick us off?
I'm terrified I'm going to forget the name of this. I just had to ask a producer like 3 times.
If it's on your tip of your tongue, get it out.
Tongue. It's written and directed by Greg Jardine.
Ooh.
And it's a film that's just landed on Netflix, and it's called It's What's Inside.
You really buried the lead there. I enjoyed it. You're teasing us. Director, platform, name.
She has a weird memory. I watched it last night. It's a psychological thriller. Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to put you in the scene. You're with a group of friends. You've known them for a really long time. You haven't seen them in ages. Okay.
It's relatable.
Yeah, it's quite relatable. And you get together in a big country house. Relatable.
Potentially relatable.
And then someone whips out a little machine which it swaps bodies. Not so relatable.
Less relatable, bit Freaky Friday, would you say?
Bit Freaky Friday, but a more adult version.
Oh.
It's kind of like Freaky Friday, but it starts to ask quite a lot of, I wish I could make this intellectual. It's really not intellectual. It's just kind of like a fun sci-fi-esque thriller shot in a very interesting way. Watch it.
Fabulous. My recommendation for this week is a book. It is called Mad Woman by Chelsea Beaker. She's an American journalist and writer. And Mad Woman, I haven't actually finished it yet. So, I mean, I'm really backing this. Like I know, but I'm enjoying it so far. If I get to the end and in a few weeks' time, I'm like, actually, that was terrible. I'll come back and officially retract my recommendation. But I don't think I will.
I think we should actually hold you to it. I think we should hold you to it.
But it's a fairly similar kind of premise to that Colleen Hoover book that was just a film with Blake Lively. About it. So there are it's like about intergenerational trauma and some kind of like abuses of power within a family. But it's a very powerful read, and I'm really enjoying it. It's like very gripping. And
I love those
books. It's a pretty
books,
powerful book that I have genuinely found difficult to put down, which is quite a big sell. And then my other recommendation is that everybody, this is a real shout out for our website, but there is just so much happening in the UAE in the next 2 months in terms of concerts, musicals, live events. There was a day last week where every hour we had a different person announced, as like Andrea Bocelli, Les Miserables,
Christina Aguilera.
It was wild. So my recommendation is that you start buying tickets and filling those diaries, because it's going to be a very, 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 very busy few months, and you will see me at Stormzy.
Are you going?
100%.
We're going then.
We'll be together.
You ain't got no, I'm not going to say. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening.
And if you like this episode, please follow and subscribe on your favourite podcasting app.
And don't forget to tell all your friends and family to vote for us on the Signal Award, but also to follow this podcast. Thank you so much.
We haven't even promoted ourselves today. How naughty. Bye.
Bye.